I am now profitable in 8 of the last 9 chasing that paper shows. And I believe Ian and I, who will be joining me shortly, we are profitable in 3 straight Friday football programs. So we're going to try to keep that rolling today. Ian has 3 sides. I have 3 totals. I have a greasy money line parlay. And of course, we're going to be weighing in on the 3 Major League Baseball playoff games. And of course, Deshaun Watson in hot water again. So Ian's going to be giving his 2 cents in our daily Deshaun Watson segment, which people seem to be really enjoying. So we will bring in my guy, Ian, from BetSided right now. Up in his style a little bit here. You know, I've been giving him a hard time about his T-shirts, but he's rocking a pretty stylish Falcons hat. Ian, tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, brand new Falcons hat. I kind of like how it's like all red. It's like a neon red. Yeah, it's a fitted hat. It has the Falcons logo on the back of it. And I'm wearing a nice new green T-shirt. So I think I took my fashion game up a little step.
There we go. Ian now has a passion for fashion. Okay. That's enough small talk here, Ian. We got a lot to get into, so let's get right into that action. I'm going to hit lead off here for us, Ian. My favorite total for Sunday is for the game between the Minnesota Vikings and my Miami Dolphins. Total for this one set at 45.5. Boom! I love the over, and this is a big fat fade of each of these defenses. 26th and 29th in yards per play allowed. Also 29th and 27th in opponent red zone scoring percentage. So they can't get stops inside the red zone or outside of it. Each team is getting killed through the air. 23rd and 25th in yards allowed per pass attempt. 26th and 29th in opponent completion percentage. This is fantastic because these teams are 6th and 7th in passing play percentage. So not a lot of time going to be getting chewed up on the ground. And elite playmakers on each offense. You don't need me to name them off, but the biggest rebuttal might be, hey, Skylar Thompson, the third stringer starting for Miami here. Yeah, that's true, but by no means was he horrible last week. And I think he's in a much better situation in this game. A full week of practice as a starter playing at home versus a bad defense. So I think he can manufacture a couple scoring drives here for Miami. Okay, next up, Ian, you're looking at the game between your Falcons and the San Francisco 49ers. So what do you think? The Falcons staying undefeated against the spread?
Yeah, Falcons 5-0 against the spread. Only the 19th team to do it over the last 36 years or something. So it might be even more impressive feat than winning the Super Bowl. Some are saying. But unfortunately, I do think that streak comes to an end this weekend. I am going to take the 49ers, unfortunately, to cover the spread here. I'm putting my bias aside, mainly because the Falcons just cannot match up with this 49ers defense. This 49ers defense is on a historic rate here. First in opponent yards per play, first in opponent yards per carry, which is huge. Because Falcons, 50% of their offensive yards gained comes on the ground. That's the third most in the NFL. And now they have to try to run the ball against this 49ers defense that's allowing only 3 yards per carry. Then if they try to throw the ball, they are 26th in QB sacked percentage, and the 49ers are first in QB sack percentage. It is going to be an absolute disaster for this Falcons offense. And about Jimmy G, I brought this up before, but I think the 49ers offense is significantly better with Jimmy G under center. You look at most of their statistics, they're much better than they were earlier in the year. Actually, they're much better than the Falcons offense already. So I think it's going to be a rough one for my Dirty Birds, unfortunately. So I'll take the 49ers. I'll lay the points of them. They will beat and cover the spread against my Falcons.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you on that one. The 49ers offense really coming into form in that one over the past couple of weeks. Dig into their stats. Okay, next up for me, another total. We got the Ravens. We got the Giants in New Jersey. A total of 45 for this one. I like the under in this matchup. So both of these teams are clock suckers. They will be sucking on that clock all day long. What I mean by this, 3rd and 10th in rushing play percentage. So that clock is going to be moving, and that ball is going to be punted a lot. Each of these defenses strong on 3rd down, 5th and 11th in opponent 3rd down conversion percentage. And some major red flags for this Giants offense. All of a sudden, the Giants are the toast of the town, but let's be real, probably a little fraudulent here to be completely fair. Take a look at these numbers on offense. 25th on third down, dead last in the red zone. Just 6 passes of 20-plus yards, so no explosive play capability for them. Easily last in the NFL in that category, by the way. And their offensive line stinks. They're allowing the most pressure in the NFL. And, of course, the trend. The Giants are 13-1-1 to the under in their last 15 at home. 11 of those 15 games failed to reach 40 points. So give me the under in that one. Next up, Ian, it is the second best game of the week. Of course, the best game of the week went down on Thursday between the Bears.
That's true.
Anders. So you're taking a look at this Bills-Chiefs game. The Chiefs, an underdog at home. Patrick Mahomes, undefeated in his career as an underdog against the spread. So surely you must be on the Kansas City Chiefs here, right?
Yeah, how many of those games were against the 2022 Buffalo Bills? 0. So I'm not listening to that trend whatsoever. I will lay the points with the Buffalo Bills. By the way, just a complete shame that this game isn't a primetime game. But to be honest, the other 2 late afternoon games aren't great. So we can kind of focus all our attention on this one. But the reason why I like this bet, huge defensive advantage for the Buffalo Bills here. Next to the 49ers, they have the best defense in the NFL. They're giving up only 4.4 yards per play. Chiefs 12th in opponent yards per play. And speaking of the Chiefs defense, a big red flag I have for this Kansas City defense is that they are 30th in opponent completion percentage. They're allowing opposing quarterbacks to complete 69.27% of their thrown passes. If you let Josh Allen complete 70% of passes, you are going to be in for a long night. And you can praise the Chiefs offense all you want, but still, statistically, the Bills still head and shoulders above them. First in yards per play at 6.7. Chiefs coming in at 9th in yards per play at 5.8. So 0.9 more yards per play on offense the Bills are gaining compared to the Chiefs. So I will lay the points with Buffalo. Big revenge game, too.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you there. The Bills doing a fantastic job at protecting Josh Allen, so I think he's going to be able to pick apart that Chiefs defense, and Kansas City having kicking issues. And if it's a game where they're just zipping up and down the field, taking turns scoring on each other, one missed field goal might be all it takes for Ian to hit that bet and for the Bills to cover. Okay, my final NFL bet for the show. We got the Panthers. We got the Rams. We got a total of 42. I'm on the under in this game. So here's the trend. Rams games, since they started playing at SoFi Stadium, 16-5 to the under. So that's the trend. Here's the stats to back it up. 28th and 32nd in yards per play. Yes, shockingly, the Rams dead last in yards per play. Major issues on the offensive line. At running back, at wide receiver, Matthew Stafford has more INTs than TDs this season. Panthers just god-awful in the red zone, 25th in red zone TD scoring percentage. This lines up perfectly with the strength of the Rams defense, as they rank 4th in that category defensively. The Panthers have somehow only converted on 24.19% of third downs, which is easily the worst in the NFL. And both teams just doing a horrendous job at protecting their quarterback. 38 total combined sacks allowed. So that's going to lead to a lot of dead drives. So I absolutely love the under in that matchup. Ian, bring it home for us with the Sunday night football game. I think this is one of the toughest games on the board to cap. I'm probably just going to sit back and enjoy. You're going all in with one of your best bets. What do you like on Sunday night?
I'll be waiting all day for Sunday night, Joe, as the great Carrie Underwood says. I'll lay the points with the Eagles in this one. Last week, I tried to sell high in the Cowboys against the Rams. That didn't exactly work out, so I'm just going to go back to the same strategy here. Because, yeah, Cooper Rush and this Cowboys offense, they're doing enough to win games. Credit to them. But still, a couple of red flags with their offensive numbers here. The biggest one being 29th and third down conversion rate. That's not very good. Even in yards per play, they're all the way down at 23rd, as opposed to the Eagles, who rank 8th in yards per play. So just an absolute offensive mismatch. And we look at the defense, everyone is praising the Cowboys defense, and rightfully so in a lot of areas, but let's give some respect for this Philadelphia Eagles defense, 3rd in opponent yards per play. So I think the two defenses are a little bit of a wash. But speaking of the Cowboys defense, one area I think the Eagles can exploit is that the Cowboys are 21st in opponent yards per carry, and we know this Eagles offense with Jalen Hurts under center, they can run the ball. So I think the Eagles can run the ball on them, get their yards that way. The Eagles defense will do their job shutting down a Cowboys offense that hasn't been great statistically. So I will lay the points with the Eagles on Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, kind of an interesting game, right? The Eagles haven't really played stiff competition. All you can do is play the schedule in front of you, though, right? Meanwhile, with the Cowboys, I think a lot of us in the back of our mind, we're kind of waiting for the wheels to fall off on this odd couple duo of Mike McCarthy and Cooper Rush. But their defense has been absolutely fantastic, so I'm pretty pumped for that one. Okay, Ian, we keep rolling here. So that's the 6 NFL picks, and we move on to the most controversial bet in all of sports betting. Some people love it. Some people absolutely hate it. Of course, I'm talking about the greasy money line parlay, where we are 3-1 on the season. So let's keep rolling. I have a 5-legger coming in at plus 124 for this weekend. Let's get into the college legs. Ole Miss minus 700 versus Auburn. Gigantic mismatch between the Mississippi defense and Auburn's offense. Mississippi still undefeated on the season. 13 straight wins at home. Texas minus 740 versus Iowa State. Wins of 18 and 49 since a disappointing loss to Texas Tech for Texas. So really bouncing back. I expect Iowa State to have a hard time keeping up with a Texas team that scored 34 or more in every game except for the game versus Alabama this season. Next up, Coastal Carolina minus 425. Old Dominion, one of the worst teams in college football. 2-12 in their last 14 on the road. Coastal Carolina still undefeated on the season. An enormous gap between these offenses. South Alabama minus 900 versus Louisiana Monroe. Oh my God. ULM 0-17 in their last 17 on the road. South Alabama's only loss this season was a 1-point loss as a 15.5-point underdog versus UCLA. And we wrap it up with the NFL leg of the GNP. It is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers minus 390. So this Pittsburgh offense just flat out pathetic. 15.4 points per game, 30th in yards per play. They won't have success versus this Bucs D, still one of the best in the NFL. They've allowed 15 or fewer points in 4 of their 5 games this season. So there you have it. The greasy money line parlay for this weekend. We're going to try to keep rolling. So 7 total bets right there. 3 more coming up for Major League Baseball. If you're looking to tail any of these bets or maybe even fade them, hey, the choice quite simply is yours as a responsible adult. I recommend placing or fading over at BetMGM. Let me tell you a little bit about them. Kick off the new pro football season with the king of sportsbooks. Sign up with BetMGM using bonus code VIBONUS, and your first wager is risk-free up to $1,000. That's VI bonus, all one word, no spaces, and your first wager is risk-free up to $1,000. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. You must be 21 or older. BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Indeed. Major League Baseball absolutely loaded today. 3 playoff games. What are we going to do, Ian? We're going to keep on rolling. We got afternoon action in the Bronx with the Guardians in town. And I like the Yankees in the first 5 innings, so much, in fact, that I'm going to take the Yankees first 5 run line. So minus 0.5 at plus 105. A lot of this is about the man on the mound for the Yankees here, Nestor Cortez, a 1.95 home ERA, a 1.82 ERA when pitching in day games, by the way. Super sharp versus the Guardians this season, 2.19 ERA with 14 strikeouts to 2 walks. Just 4 runs in 3 playoff games for the Guardians. This is becoming a bit of an issue for them. Just a 506 OPS, striking out a lot, just 5 extra base hits in the playoffs so far. Shane Bieber on the bump here for the Guardians. The last time he pitched at Yankee Stadium in the playoffs, he got absolutely humiliated. 7 earned runs in 4.2 innings of work. And the Yankees hitters have his number. 68 combined at-bats against him. They have an OPS over 1,000. So give me Yankees first 5 run line. Next up, Ian, we got the Braves and the Phillies in Philadelphia. What are you looking at?
I'm just gonna go down with the ship of the Philadelphia Phillies here. So give me them again today. -110 as a pick 'em against the Braves. Full game money line. Aaron Nola takes a mound for them today. He is 3-2 against the Braves this season. He's coming off a 6-inning performance of no-run baseball against them back on September 23rd. And big reason why I backed the Phillies to win the National League. Big reason why I backed the Phillies to win the wild card round. Big reason why I'm backing the Phillies today. Their offense is as hot as it's been all season. 7th in OPS dating back to September 1st. And the Braves will be going with Spencer Strider. And everyone wants to give this guy his flowers and kiss his feet. Not me, Joe. 5-4 record on the road. His ERA drops from 2.17 at home all the way down to 3.25 on the road. You can fade this guy on the road. Only a 5-4 record away from home. So I'm going to fade him today. Give me the Phillies. -110 against the Braves.
So you don't like Spencer Strider, eh?
No, he's a bum.
So you wouldn't shake his hand? If he was outside of your apartment right now looking to shake your hand, would you shake his hand?
I'd give him a fist bump.
Okay.
That's it, though.
Very hygienic. Okay, let's wrap it up for Major League Baseball. Out on the West Coast in San Diego, the Dodgers in town, obviously. Got to get a bit creative with this one. I'm going to take the Padres' first 5 team total over 1.5, coming in at -105. So very fast starts for this Padres offense. Take a look at the runs scored in innings 1 through 5 in the playoffs so far. 7, 2, 4, 3, and 3. So they've topped 1.5 all 5 games versus some stud pitchers too. They're facing a pretty good one here, Tony Gonsolin, but maybe a bit of an uncomfortable spot for old Tony out here. Tony, of course, missed all of September, but he returned for one final regular season start at home versus the Rockies on October 3rd. He only threw 40 pitches in that game, so definitely not totally himself here, and also in a very high-pressure spot, so maybe don't expect him to be incredibly sharp in this game or go the full 5 innings if he can't keep the pitch count down early. So I think the Padres to keep rolling at least early offensively in the first 5 innings. Okay. Jeez, what is that, Ian? That 10 total picks in about 17 minutes. Setting records here at chasing that paper. Okay, guys, if you love what we do here at Vegas Insider, I strongly recommend downloading and checking out the Vegas Insider app. We've got up-to-date, easy-to-navigate odds for every major sport. We have all our latest shows, best bet videos, and podcasts, props, trends, futures, news, all on the Vegas Insider app. Download the Vegas Insider app right now on Apple and Android. Bet better with the Vegas Insider app. Okay, there you have it. Speaking of shaking hands, Ian, I put out a little poll there on Twitter last night. I asked, would you spend $5 to shake Mike Ditka's hand? Now, the overwhelming amount of people responded, no, they wouldn't. How about you? If Mike Ditka was within comfortable walking range from where you are right now, would you pay a $5 bill to shake his hand?
Yeah, I think I would. $5. Mike Ditka's a legend, man. Legend. I think I'd do it.
Of course.
I kind of like
story.
Mike Ditka.
Imagine telling your grandchildren you got to shake Mike Ditka's hand. Now, I know you're not a single guy, but imagine the attention you would get from the girls if they knew that you shook Mike Ditka's hand, especially if you could get someone to take a picture of it, throw that up on your Instagram. Maybe
he was great. He was great in Kicking and Screaming. Did you watch that movie? With Will Ferrell?
Will Ferrell? Yeah. So there you go. Movie star, coach, broadcaster.
Oh.
$5 well spent.
He's a jack of all trades. Tight end.
I think people responding to the Twitter poll last night were just bitter. They must have all been on the over in that game last night. Okay, let's move on to the viewer picks segment of the program here. Ian, a couple good submissions. One that goes kind of for you, but against your pick. Our guy, or I think this might be a first-time submission from Matty Puppy Sports.
Ooh.
He's on Atlanta, plus 5.5. Now, I don't totally agree with his logic. I'll wait for you to weigh in here. Why not? He says 5-0 ATS. That's always a good reason for a bit. Why not? They're 5-0 ATS, so keep riding them. San Francisco 2 weeks in a row on the East Coast. They stayed on the East Coast, which takes them away from their routine. So they might win, but they'll sleepwalk through it. So I'll let Ian finish his laughing there. But I don't know about the East Coast angle. I know San Francisco does that every year when they take their East Coast road trip and they stay on the East Coast. And I think they typically perform well in this situation. Like, that's looked at as an opportunity for team bonding, which people might think is bullshit. But I do think they typically do well in this situation. As for the why not angle, I disagree with that. So, Ian, what do you think of the angle here from our buddy?
Here's what I'll say. Sometimes it's just fun just to ride a trend. Remember in the Blackhawks,
Sure.
their first period over trend was crazy a few years ago, and it wasn't like people were handicapping every single game. They were just like, hey, let's just ride this trend until it loses. So if you just want to, if you want to just keep betting on the Falcons until they don't cover the spread, I'll accept that. Sure, why not?
Yeah, some red flags. San Francisco, quite a few injuries on the defense, so who knows? That could really work against them. So we kind of wish our guy luck because he's supporting your team but going against your bet. Okay, next up, at third and Ben, our guy Benny. I think he submitted before. I like this look from him. Bucks Steelers under 45.5. So both teams bottom 10 in the league in yards per play. Bucks offense still looks to be lacking that pop, even with the receivers back. Bucks 4-1 to the under. Steelers 3-2. Bucks defense third best in the league still at 4.7 yards per play. So, Ian, your thoughts on the total in that game as a whole?
Yeah, I probably would lean under. The Steelers defense kind of gives me concerns. People still just assume because they're the Pittsburgh Steelers that they have a good defense, so they just like to kind of bet on unders in their games, but they're 24th in opponent yards per play. So the Buccaneers might get enough points that it goes over, but if I were to bet on the total, I'm on the Bucks to cover in that game, but
Same.
if I were to bet on the total, I'd probably go under.
I would say my prediction, Bucks 28-10. In that game. I think the Bucks are absolutely going to roll them in that game. I think it's a real breakout opportunity situation for the Bucks, who've been a bit underwhelming to start the season. They play tough competition, but Pittsburgh, probably a bottom three worst team in the NFL, and they're kind of getting by based on the reputation of years past. So I took the alts under on their team total coming into the season. So not too high on them. A lot of people weighing in on this game. I wish G-Dog 5000 was here to weigh in on this one, but our guy, Kowloon City at Midnight Ravers. He likes Mike Evans at even money to get into the end zone to score a touchdown. He said you don't get Mikey at even money. Pittsburgh's debacle versus the Bills, 4 passing TDs. How could you not jump on this? So, yeah, he likes Evans there at even money. I guess I don't mind Evans getting into the end zone, but what do you think about the even money odds on that, Ian? Would you even risk that, or?
I don't hate it. I mean, he's Tom Brady's favorite red zone target. I mean, 14 touchdowns last season, 13 touchdowns the year before. Like, this guy gets a ton of red zone looks. He already has 3 touchdowns on the year. I like it. I mean, even money. Yeah, why not? They can't run the ball. So, when they score, it's going to be through the air unless they're on the 1 yard line. Dead last in yards per carry. So, their touchdowns are going to come through the air. So, yeah, I like it.
Okay, we're going to wrap things up on the ice here, where I've swept my picks in the NHL, by the way, Ian. We talked about that 2-0 sweep on my NHL picks.
Get the brooms
2 individual 1-0 sweeps. Yeah, get the broom emojis out. So, our buddy, I can't pronounce name, Nathan Schwadegowski. That's not even close.
Sounds Polish.
He's there in his picture, him and a buddy in Penguins jerseys, which is pretty cool. So we'll show this guy some love after butchering his last name. He likes the Winnipeg Jets money line, -112. They got the Rangers in town. New York likely starting Halak on the 3rd game in 4 nights. That's a tough start to their season for them. And of course, Sesh Turkin was in between the pipes last night. Winnipeg over the last 2 years, 8-1 at home when the opponent is on the 2nd game of a back-to-back. Ian, any thoughts on that or the NHL as a whole? I don't know if you've started betting hockey yet this season or if you're kind of waiting for some stats to accumulate.
Yeah, I went 0-2 last night in the NHL. I haven't looked at today's slate though. That seems like kind of a short price on the Jets. I'm not really high on the Jets this year against the Rangers, but I haven't looked. So, Rangers likely starting Halak, so that's probably why it's that short of a price. Yeah, if the Rangers are starting Halak, I probably like the Jets in that spot because without Shesterkin, they're done. I forget exactly what the record was, but last year when they started their backup quarterback, they were something like 8-20 or 8-18 or something. So yeah, I like it.
Congrats to your Toronto Maple Leafs, by the way. I'm picking up a win.
Yeah, because I bet against them. So as long as I keep betting against them, that's probably when they'll win. But if I don't, then they'll lose. I hate them.
How about my Pittsburgh Penguins, Ian? Came out absolutely flying. That's how you open up a season. Destroying the Coyotes at home. The Coyotes, they got to be the biggest disgrace for any sports franchise that there is. And they've got some stiff competition versus the like of the Anaheim Angels and the Cleveland Browns. But what are they playing in, like a college-sized arena or something this season?
Yeah, college-sized arena. I think Acadia University has a bigger hockey rink than the Arizona Coyotes at this point. Yeah, they're an embarrassment, and they're going to be by far the worst team in the NHL. I bet you if you we'll come back to this later in a couple months. I bet you if you just go run line or puck line against the Coyotes every single game, you're going to be up a ton of money in a couple months because they stink.
Why do they keep that team in Arizona? The community clearly does not want to support them. Move them up here to Canada.
The commissioner has some kind of thing with Arizona. Like he refuses to even admit that they're like not a popular team. It's I don't know exactly what it is, but it's something to do with Gary Bettman's connection with Arizona.
It's like the Tampa Bay Rays down there in Florida. Sure, they have a good team. That should give people enough reason to want to come out and support them. And people in Tampa Bay are like, well, no, it's in the wrong end of the city.
Well, they have a great stadium.
That absolute dump. I've seen better turf on sunburnt putt courses. That is a complete and total disaster out there in Tampa Bay. You know how I feel about that. I think that they should move that team to Montreal. Bring back the Expo. Les Expo. Right? This is a bilingual sports betting program. If you know any French people, tell them to tune in. Okay, Ian, it is now time for today's handicapper heat check presented by VegasInsider.com. Your home for the best expert picks in the business since 1997. Today we recognize Kyle Hunter. Can be found on Twitter at Kyle Hunter's Picks. Kyle is VI's college football money leader, going 18-4 over the last 4 Saturdays and 25-8 on totals this season. He is also on a 6-1 streak over his last 7 MLB games. Save $10 on Kyle's Dodgers at Padres best bet or his college football Saturday package by clicking on the link in the description below. The $10 discount will be applied during checkout. That's your handicapper heat check. Stay hot, bettors. Ian, I'm ready for the weekend to start here, man. I'm off here in about 3 minutes, but tell us where we can find some of your work that you've done leading up to this weekend's football games.
Yeah, best place now is the Bacon Bets podcast. That is live with my best bet for all 14 NFL Week 6 games. I also do a pregame show with Matt Verderam at 12 p.m. Eastern on Sunday, so check that out as well. And daily bet slip today at 4 p.m. Eastern. I won't be on, but Reed Wallach and Donovan Smoot are going to talk some NBA and some college football, so you'll want to tune into that because NBA starts next week as well. So a lot of sports.
Yeah, we're going to be even busier here, but we can't complain about that. Okay, a lot going on at Vegas Insider here as well. I make picks for every single Sunday game in a little segment called 30 Seconds or Less, where I absolutely just rip through the board. I've had consecutive 8 and 5 weeks, so I'm going to try to keep that rolling. So find that on the Vegas Insider YouTube channel. It's called 30 Seconds or Less. If you're a UFC fan, you're going to want to check out my UFC podcast, Pound for Pound Picks. 3 picks for the UFC event going down on Saturday night. Find that wherever you can find your podcast. And we have the card of the year in the UFC coming up here next week, so I'm pumped to get into that. Down to the wire tonight with Joe Madden, 6 Eastern right here on the Vegas Insider YouTube channel. And make sure you're following Vegas Insider on Twitter. If you're watching this on YouTube right now, make sure you give us a like. There's a subscribe button right down there. So give that a click. Guys, good luck with your bets tonight. Good luck with your bets this weekend, unless you are fading us. And as always, keep chasing that paper. Wow!